Tetsuwan Atom was one of Japan's first big pop culture successes. First as a comic, then as Japan's first domestically produced cartoon show, and then exported overseas as Astro Boy. Tetsuwan Atom is Osamu Tezuka's first masterpiece. The background for Tetsuwan Atom is incredibly dark and would require a video of its own to go through, so I'm just going to get to the basics. In a future where humans and robots live alongside each other, Atom is the only robot with feelings. He's been adopted by Professor Ochanomizu, who raises him, and because Atom is such a strong robot, he has adventures and fights crime. I had high hopes when I first played Tetsuwan Atom a while back. I like the character. I like Konami's games. Surely that's two great tastes that go great together. Well, no. This is just about my least favorite Konami game on the Famicom, and it's definitely their worst action game. Some of that can be attributed to it not really being a Konami game. It was developed by Home Data, who made a few things like Sky Destroyer and Squoon, and it feels like they were still developing games for 1985 when they made this. It's clunky, it has a ton of poor game design choices, and it looks and sounds bad, which is something that you don't get from Konami usually. Tetsuwan Atom takes place across 10 levels, in which Atom pursues a gang of thieves who rob the Ministry of Science. Atom can punch, jump, and if you jump just right, he can fly. And that's it. The rest of his arsenal of weapons just aren't there. Atom is also incredibly weak in this game. Any shot makes him go right to pieces. His actual life is measured in uranium, the number in the lower right-hand corner. Atom's maximum uranium is 300. It ticks down over time, and some enemies will drain some of that uranium away. You can press down and B to summon Professor Ochanomizu, and he will top off Atom's uranium stores. Ochanomizu only has 1000 uranium at the start of the game, though. So when Atom dies or runs out of uranium, and Ochanomizu has run out of uranium, then the game is over. There is a kind of continue, where you can use coins that Atom collects to buy more uranium. Coins only drop from enemies on the first stage, and what you collect is not nearly enough to cover recharging him. The Japanese guides I found recommended staying on the first stage and collecting coins for a long time. It takes 130 coins to completely replenish the uranium. You get about 10 going through the first stage. Another way that some uranium can be recovered is when you complete any stage after the first. There are also a very small number of pickups that can be found that will grant some uranium. However, there's a bug with the uranium replenishment. Sometimes you just don't get as much as you're supposed to, and sometimes it even takes away your uranium when it's supposed to be replenishing. The first stage has you in a futuristic city pursuing the thieves. If you punch them or jump on them once, then they spit out a coin. When you punch enemies, they start saying a sentence, and every time you punch them, another character pops out. None of these are really useful sentences, though, and the length of the sentence determines how tough they are. Also, it's pretty common for these to become unreadable due to multiple overlapping sentences. Keep an eye out while you're moving through levels for areas that you can pass through. I never found anything actually required in them, but they exist. When you reach the water at the end, you have to use Atom's flight to get over it. So here what you have to do is jump 3 times in rapid succession. It can't be in place, you have to actually be moving in a direction. The third time that you jump, if you hold down the button, Atom takes to the sky. And in one of the few nice touches in the game, there's this lovely sunrise as you fly out over the water. This is actually the transition to the second stage. The second stage has you on a tropical island, and you just have to go to the end of it, and then punch this skull that randomly shoots fireballs in the face. The timing between the fireballs is random, and one hit kills you. So that's annoying. It looks like the next stage should take place inside some ruins, but it's like the game just jumped to a completely different location. This stage has segments that will loop endlessly until you fulfill a requirement, usually ringing bells in the correct order based on the sound you hear after you defeat an enemy. Clear that stage and you go to this bazaar. There really isn't much to do here except go down into the sewers at the end of the stage. The fifth stage is some ruins, but you can get up onto the roof of them and go to the end of the stage. Just don't fall through the moving platform like I did somehow. All of these stages are only about a minute or two long, so that might be why they made the game absurdly difficult. Dying in one hit, having extremely limited lives and no proper continues, and you go back to the start of the stage anytime you're revived, it all adds up to just being a frustrating game. I'm sure if I really wanted to stick with it, I could complete it pretty quickly. The difficulty comes from it requiring precision, not developing skill. But why would I want to do that? Tetsuwan Atom was one of the biggest disappointments for me in my Famicom collecting. Trying to collect the whole library means I buy a lot of games that I expect to be bad, and I'm not surprised when they actually are bad. Konami doing a game based on a character I like? I had high hopes. Tetsuwan Atom would have been a bad game regardless of who was behind it. It feels more like an upper-tier Bandai Tosei joint than something Konami would put their name on.